Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Now, before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in the bio section of my social media accounts. Also, looking at the economic calendar for the week, I don't see nothing on there to worry about. No Powell, no Yellen, no surprises as of right now, but that can change because we've seen it in the past. Well, Yellen or Powell is not on the docket for the week, then all of a sudden they just surprise you and end up being an error or something like that. So you do have to always be aware that they could show up at any time and just say anything that could make the market go crazy. Also, this is the last trading week for 2021, so it could be volatile, it could be crazy. A lot of people could be taking off their loser trades because even though SPY is at all-time highs, that a lot of stocks are not even near it. So people could be hedge funds and other big wigs could end up taking their loser trades for tax purposes and stuff like that. So it could be a wild week, especially Friday. And so let's close out 2021 strong. My numbers compared to last year, I am up over last year's numbers, so I'm very happy about that. Hopefully I don't have a bad week this week. I should have a strong week, but you never know, anything can happen. We'll just have to adjust to any overnight gap up and gap downs if they end up happening again. So now, the watch list is going to be pretty much the same as last week because not much really happened last week except SPY having its crazy bounce and stuff like that. But without any reason for SPY to go down, and it's just going to keep chugging up. While I know that the COVID cases are going up, I don't think SPY really cares about that anymore. It's more worried about the Fed, unless the Fed says they're going to raise rates or make some kind of comment or say something or tweet something, or I don't think the market's going to care because we're going into earnings season and in a couple of weeks, and we should start to see ER run-ups this week possibly. I mean, maybe a little bit too early, but next couple of weeks we could start seeing anticipating for good earnings, but we'll have to see if it's actually good or not. So enough rambling aside, I do have SPY up. Might as well get it out of the way. Actually, before I do cover SPY, I do want to look at the put to call ratio as of right now for Friday, last week I should say. Just a curiosity to see where it is. Just waiting for it to update. Why isn't it updating? There we go. Well, it's flat. It's in the middle, so I don't like it. It's in the middle like that, so whatever. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, SPY is just going to keep chugging up. I mean, all-time high is 473.54. We're ready to break out as of Thursday, and it dropped a little bit end of the day. But, you know, I would be surprised if we end up pushing to 475, 480. Everyone's probably going to end up shorting at the on Monday, thinking that it's just going to top out. But, you know, anytime you think SPY is going to do one thing, it does the opposite. I mean, no matter how sure you think you are, if SPY doesn't care what you think, it's going to do the opposite of what you think. I mean, the hourly rate here is out of the Keltner channel, and it does like to drop. So, I mean, it could drop a little bit. I mean, it could end up doing a little drop to like 465 or 460 before, you know, raging to 475 or 480. So I think they're going to finish the year really strong this year. I think they're going to keep SPY elevated. So that way the politicians and market makers and everybody can brag about how great the year was and how Biden was good for the market and stuff like that. So it's all about bragging rights, and they're going to close out the year strong, in my opinion. We'll have to see if that actually happens, but that's just my 2 cents. I think that I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we end up seeing SPY pushing the 480 by Friday and closing near all-time high. Then the real show will begin next week in the new year and see how 2022 starts and stuff like that. But enough rambling with that. But yeah, that's what I think is going to end up happening. That's why you need to be in the room, because the gap ups and gap downs have a significant impact on how I'm going to take the plays and stuff like that. So now Roku, definitely still watching. Roku's weekly looks really good. It looks like it really wants to curl up and go. I mean, it gets over this what is the high right here? We'll say 437, 240. Gets over this 240 area. It's going to go to 250, 260 really, really fast. Roku's one of those stocks that once it starts getting strength, as you can see right here, it drops. It gets a little bit of strength and it pulls back a little bit, then it just rips. I mean, it could have this kind of a move right here. You could blink and Roku could be $350, $400 in a flash. So definitely keep an eye on Roku. Lululemon, I mean, it did have a little bit of a bounce on Thursday, so I would definitely keep an eye on it over we'll say 393, 400. It gets over 400 that it could end up really taking off and pushing to 410, 420, basically every $10. And once Lululemon starts getting strength behind it, it just doesn't look back. And anytime it has big drops like this, I mean, it just seems like a given to me that you need to buy the dip on Lululemon and it just goes. But you know, the 20 EMA is right here at 408. I mean, it could push to 408 and reject and come back to 400 before actually pushing up. It could kind of do like this, then going like that. So I'm thinking it could go like that, come back down, then rip. So that's what I'm thinking on that. On Lululemon. Target is another one. Target, you know, it's consolidating right down here. It looks ready. I mean, it gets over Friday's high of, we'll round up to 223 for push to 225. Basically every $5, 230, 235, 240. So Target doesn't usually dip this much. Whenever it does, it rebounds like right here. I mean, it hasn't dipped like this in a while. Right there below, it went to the 20 EMA, quickly recovered, went down to the bottom of the Keltner channel and recovered. So bottom of the Keltner channel, I think it's going to end up going back up to all-time high soon. So I would watch it over 223, 224, 225 for push to 230, 235, 240 every $5. Get a really big area right here in the 240 area. So sorry about that. Yeah, 240 is a big area right here on Target, so we'll have to see what it actually does right there. Then Disney is another one. Literally, this is the same watch list as last week because a lot of the stocks that I'm watching, I'm expecting to rip. Now, I'd watch it over the 150, let's say 154.50, or you could say this high right here, but I don't like saying 154.66 because I just don't like those numbers. I like the rounder numbers, like the full dollar or full 50 cents, especially on smaller tickets like this that don't go insane like Roku. So 154.50 for a push. It does get over that. You get the RCT trend line right here at 155, but I think if it gets over that, it's going to test the gap resistance right here at 165, 164. So definitely watch that. The weekly looks good too on Disney. The MACD is starting to curl up. Histogram is starting to push up. So Disney looks pretty good. Now I have SPLK on here still. I mean, it's starting to curl up. I mean, the weekly looks good right here. We'll have to see if it can actually push. And I'm not too confident about this one because SPLK is just hasn't been very good to me in the past, but these levels it likes to bounce at these 110 levels, so I would keep an eye on it over Friday's high of what we'll round up to 117 for push to 120 and 122.50, 125, stuff like that. So definitely keep an eye on that SPLK. Snap is another one. Snap, I think it's whoop, I kind of typed in the wrong ticket. There we go. Snap had a nice green candle on the weekly, so I would keep an eye on it over Friday's high, which is, we'll say $49. Push to 50, gets over 50. I mean, you can see it push to $54, 55 really, really fast. What it's been doing is it's been bouncing and rejecting the 20 EMA right here and the RCT trend line, which is together, and right here rejected that. I really thought right here was actually going to take off. So I think maybe this time, maybe third time's a charm, it's going to actually take off. We'll have to see. But Snap, I would definitely keep an eye on that. Microsoft. Microsoft, I mean, it's got SPY at all-time high, and Microsoft's lagging a little bit. So I would watch it over, let's see, this 337 area. As you can see, it rejected here harshly. Rejected here a little bit and just consolidate. I think that if the market's strong, it's going to rip and end up going to 345, 350, catching up with the market. So sometimes Microsoft likes to go against the market. If the market's dropping, Microsoft will still go forward. So it doesn't really matter what the market does. Sometimes Microsoft does have a mind of its own. It's not like Roku where the market ignores, where it actually ignores the market. Microsoft does react to the market 90% of the time, but once in a while it doesn't care, and it could be one of those days where it doesn't care. So, and the two on the bearish list I have are the same as last week. QCOM, still watching that, even though it's kind of popped up a little bit. It does break below this 173 area or 174 area. That I would keep an eye on that, but I don't know. It's starting to push back up, but I'm definitely going to keep it on radar. I'd definitely be watching it down here, but that's so much of a drop. That's all. It's like an $8 drop, but I'll keep it on radar and see if it does have any violent moves. Because look at the weekly. The weekly is just, it's chopping in this area, and QCOM just it could end up pulling back down to the RCT trend line right down here. It gets too far away from it. It likes to come back and retest it. So we'll have to see if it actually does that. Sometimes it takes a while to happen, and we'll just have to be patient and wait for it. So DLTR is another one. Now that Christmas is over with, a lot of the retailers are probably not going to do as well now. So I would watch it underneath, let's see, 135, let's say 136, 135 for a push down to this area of 132.50, 132. And you got 130. You can get gap support right here at the 122, 121 area. So Christmas is over. DLTR, a lot of the retail stocks can end up losing its strength and stuff like that. So that's why I'm watching that short. I was actually thinking it was going to drop more than it has the last couple weeks. It just, for some reason, it just didn't. So now we'll have to see if it does. You get a little bit of head and shoulders right here. You get a left head, right shoulder right here. So we'll have to see if it actually plays out on that. So you can see it on the daily too, right here. Left, right, head, shoulder. It's not a picture perfect thing, but you can see it's there. So, and plus when the price action is out of the Keltner channel like it is right here, it likes to pull back in. It doesn't, you rarely see it come out like right here. It just came back down right in here. So anytime it's out, it likes to get right back in really quick. So it is kind of holding above the 20 EMA, which is the middle Keltner, but we'll have to see if it plays out. So that's going to do it for the watch list. Like I said, the same as last week, just different levels and different areas to look at. Nothing really substantial on the economic calendar, like I said at the beginning of the video. That's why you need to be in the room and see what the plays are going to be in the morning. So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching.